Yo everyone, Skeptic here. Today, I wanted to do a video kind of just talking about my thoughts and first impressions of Lost Ark after reaching level 50 and reaching tier 1 content, basically. So just to start it off, I wanted to talk about the tutorial phase of the game. So the prologue and Pride Home, essentially. So I think the tutorial was nothing out of the ordinary. It basically taught you how to play the game just by either doing a quest for an NPC or by interacting and talking to an NPC. I never felt like the tutorial really dragged on. In my opinion, it was straightforward and to the point. Like, it didn't bombard you with dialogue, or you don't get like 30 tutorial quests like, oh, do this and this and this. Like, with other MMOs, I felt like it was kind of one way or another. Sometimes you go into the tutorial area and you just go to an NPC and you see like paragraphs and paragraphs of text of how to do all these mechanics and stuff, or they're trying to just push all these mechanics and they try to cram the beginner mechanics and advanced mechanics all in one, so you just kind of get overwhelmed. Or sometimes you get a bunch of tutorial quests and you're like, okay, go talk to him, go talk to her, and you just do all these sorts of stuff, kill all these mobs. Like, it was just a bunch of tutorial quests that you're just like, damn, I have to go through like 30 quests before I actually get to play the game. But for me, when I did the prologue and I did Pride Home, I never felt a sense of feeling overwhelmed. Like, after the prologue and I reached Pride Home, I felt like I was essentially playing the game. Like, I was just like, okay, I finished the prologue, now they're still teaching me stuff. But it never basically felt like I was still in the tutorial. It felt like I was just playing the game while they're teaching me stuff. And I feel like that subtlety was really something that I really liked within Lost Ark. And to basically summarize this, I really felt like Lost Ark really nailed the pacing of the tutorial. Like, it never felt it dragged on too long, like it was slow, but it wasn't also too fast. Like, they basically just, hey, you just they get you with the dialogue. They're like, you do all of this, and then within 3 minutes, now you're in the game. And it's just like, what? It's only been 3 minutes, and now I'm already in the game? This is kind of fast, you know? So I really felt like Lost Ark really did the pacing of the tutorial really well. Another thing that I wanted to talk about was the leveling process within Lost Ark. What I like about Lost Ark and what it does with the leveling process is that it gives you a sense of progression. Lost Ark makes you feel like you're always moving forward. And to elaborate on this is that when you're doing quests in an area, you rarely have to backtrack like 2 to 3 areas back. So just as an example, like Final Fantasy 14. Okay, so you would, for example, maybe you got a quest in Ul'dah, and now you have to go to some other faraway area, like Alamigo or something. And sometimes you would have to walk all the way back to Little Alamigo. Or not Alamigo, back to Ul'dah. And it's just like, it kind of slows down the game. And yes, I know you can use your chocobos and your mounts, but even then, it still takes a lot of time, right? And I know there's other transportation methods as well, but what I'm basically trying to say is that you do have to go back to a faraway area. And for some people who don't use those other transportation methods, it just seems like a lot. It just seems more troublesome than anything. But with Lost Ark, 99% of the time, if you do a quest within that specific area, like let's say I do a quest in on Kumo Mountain, right? They wouldn't they wouldn't just say, okay, you did this quest in on Kumo Mountain. Now to complete it, you have to go back to Pride Home or something like that. 99% of the time, you could do it within that area. And because of that, I really felt like I was always moving forward. I never felt the sense of, oh god, I gotta go all the way back to Pride Home, I gotta walk all the way back, or I have to teleport back, and then I have to walk all the way back to Ankumo Mountain. So they really made the pacing of the level of the at least the process of it, it feels really good. It always feels like you're moving forward. So I really like that from Lost Ark. Okay, so the questing. Okay, this is where I'm like, I don't think this is kind of the strong point here. The quest in Lost Ark, to me, is definitely not the strengths of the game. If I were to tell anyone, if anyone asked me what are the strengths of Lost Ark, I would not put questing up there. I feel like the early quests within Lost Ark, they're basically just there to help you level up and nothing more. Honestly, if you just press G the whole time without reading the NPC's dialogue, you would not be missing out on too much. Let me be frank, you wouldn't be missing out on too much. And kind of in tandem, the English voice acting and some typos within an NPC's dialogue box, those two aspects made me less immersed within the game, because it overall just lowered my interest, and I wouldn't really care about what the NPC has to say, nor how they would play, or basically how they would play their part within the overarching story of Lost Ark. Like, the voice acting, in my opinion, just wasn't that great. And the typos, every time I saw a typo within the dialogue box, it just basically killed the immersion for me. And I was just like, well, I don't even care now. Like, what? Like, sometimes it would just be a random side quest, and I'm not saying that all the side quest has to somehow go in tandem with the overarching story of Lost Ark, but I feel like if it kind of did, then it would make me feel more inclined to actually care about some NPCs. But overall, I was just like, oh damn, I honestly don't really care. Honestly, I just do not care. The questing just wasn't it for me. It wasn't it for me. Now, something that is for me though is the combat. Oh my god. I really love the combat within Lost Ark. I haven't felt fun combat within an MMO since MapleStory. Like, the combos and skills you do in Lost Ark, they feel really good to land. The animation, the sound design, the overall aesthetics of skills, they just feel really, really good to land and feel really good to do. I haven't felt that since MapleStory. Like, it's just so flashy. Most of the time, it's... Oh, another thing. Some MMOs with skills, dude, they have like paragraphs of like text of like what it's basically like modern League of Legends characters, like the newer ones that gets released. Like, there's just so much line of text, and some skills feel confusing and you don't know what the hell they do, or some skills rely on this, and there's just a lot of like complexity, like a lot of... I'm not saying that complexity is bad, but like there's too much, basically. It feels overwhelming in a way with skills. What I love about Lost Ark is how they did skills, basically. What I liked about the skills is that, okay, so in normal MMOs, right, your early game skills, they're not really that flashy, and they're not really that or satisfying to land, right? They're like your baby kind of skills. But within Lost Ark, they're not like super duper like crazy, right? But I think what the skills provide you and how you customize the skills is how is kind of the strengths within the game. So you could have like, okay, so for Paladin, right? You have this skill where you basically do an AoE on the ground. And with the tripod system, you can either like lower the cooldown, maybe you can like give it a shield, you can make it do more damage. There's just a lot of customization within the skills early on. And with the whole overall aesthetics of the skills feeling really solid, it really helps. And it doesn't make you think like, damn, I could have got a way cooler skill. It basically gives you the satisfaction of, it doesn't basically feel like you're missing out. Like I have to reach the end game to unlock all of my skills. Like eventually you do get most of your skills once you reach level 50. It doesn't feel like you, it basically, I like that you don't have a sense of just rushing towards that end game just to get all the cooler skills. Like you have basically your tool set within the beginning, and how you customize it with the tripods and how you do different builds and engravings is how it's basically how it basically determines how you play. I really like that within Lost Ark, and I really think that is one of probably the strongest aspects, or yeah, the strongest aspects within Lost Ark. And probably I don't want to make this video too long, so I kind of just want to talk about dailies and the overall kind of my thoughts on Lost Ark. So getting over dailies, funny enough, I actually really like the dailies in Lost Ark. Guardian raids are super fun to do. They're interesting. No matter how many times I do it, I love them. It's fun. It reminds me of Monster Hunter. I don't have to say any more about that. I love it. But probably one of my favorite things to do for dailies is Chaos Dungeons. It's just so simple, right? You basically get waves and waves of mobs, and you have to fill up this meter to 100%. And you go to like different levels. So you basically wave 1, you kill X amount of monsters, then you go into a portal, you go to level 2, kill a wave of monsters, go to level 3, get to 100%. It is such a simple concept, but with Lost Ark's combat and just the overall aesthetics of your skills, it just feels so, and the pacing of Chaos Dungeons, it's super fast. It's not like something you do for like 40 minutes each run. It's pretty fast. You could probably get it done within like, what, 10-15 minutes each run. So it's pretty damn fast. I like the quick pace and the quick nature of Chaos Dungeons. And even if I stupid. Even if I finish up my 2 runs for my daily Chaos Dungeons, I always end up doing more than 2. Because I literally just like, I love doing Chaos Dungeons. I don't know what else I can actually say. Like, I could easily just make alts and just do the min-max of running 2 Chaos Dungeons to get the maximum value out of them. But I just love my character so much that I'm like, I don't give a fuck about min-maxing right now. I'm gonna run like 30 Chaos Dungeons. I don't give a fuck. It's too much. I just have so much fun with Chaos Dungeons. Oh my goodness. Like, I spend a little bit too much time on them. Oh my goodness. But, oh boy, okay. On the opposite side of the spectrum here, where Chaos Dungeons are really fun, I do not necessarily feel the same way about Una's task. Okay. I don't really have a lot to say about it. It's not like I hate it necessarily, but I usually just want to get these out of the way to do the funner things like Guardian raids and the Chaos Dungeons. So I basically treat Una's task more like a chore in a way. I'm just like, let's get these done and then we can do the fun dailies. Overall, I want to talk about, or just like basically summarize my thoughts after reaching level 50 and hitting tier 1 content within Lost Ark. And I don't want to explain them in like pros and cons, because I feel like with pros and cons, I feel like it's a definite, like it's like, these are the pros of the game, boom, boom, boom. Here's the cons of the game, boom, boom, boom. And you can't change it, right? But I want to do something a little bit more kind of, I want to add more discussion or engagement, if you will, by doing strengths and weaknesses and making it less of a definite thing. Because I feel like if I talk about the strengths and the weaknesses, these things don't feel too definite, like you can't fix these things on the weaknesses side, at least. You can't fix these things. With weaknesses, I feel like, it's a weakness for now, but if they take the time, they can improve on these things. So that's why I kind of want to talk about it in that sort of way. So I really feel like the strengths of Lost Ark overall is the pacing. Oh, okay. Well, actually, no. Scratch that. Okay, let's. Okay, the strengths of Lost Ark is the combat. I really think the combat is super solid. I love the amount of customization that you have with your classes. It just feels really nice. I like that the game is very alt friendly. The classes, again, the amount of customization you have with your classes makes that makes it a lot of fun. And because it's alt friendly, you could also min max if you want. It's so you can make a bunch. You're encouraged to make alts, but you're never forced to. And because you have so much customization with your classes and the feel of the combat within Lost Ark it feels really good. It just makes you want to, like, it's never forced, but you're like, it kind of gives you that thought, like, maybe, I play a lot of Berserker, but Deadeye seems really cool, or I play Paladin, but I kind of want to try Bard and see how they support. Like, it just, Lost Ark's combat and classes and the alt friendliness of the game, they just go hand in hand with each other. They just improve one another, and I like that these systems complement each other, is basically what I'm trying to get at here. Another thing I feel like is the strengths of Lost Ark is the endgame raids, but hold on now. Now you're basically typing in the comments, oh, Skeptic, you just reached level 50 and you also hit tier 1 content just now. How can you say that the endgame raids are the strengths of the game? Well, that's a fair point, but I've looked at YouTube videos, I've seen how crazy the raids can get, and overall, they look like a ton of fun. Like, the amount, like the dungeons, like the kind of the graphical, I don't know how to say this. Like, the overall aspects of the raids just look really nice, and the level of mechanics and craziness that can happen within these raids, they just look so awesome to me that I feel like it's just I feel like it's something, it's basically a goal that I want to reach. Like, I like one day I want to reach the end game raids, because I basically want to find out the reason to why Lost Ark got so popular. It's just because of these end game raids, and I'm like, okay, if this is the crazy fun content that made Lost Ark so popular, I of course want to make it my goal to reach to that level of content, and I want to experience what made Lost Ark so popular. And basically, I kind of talked a little bit about this, but the feeling of progression, I love that you're always moving forward. It never felt like you're backtracking, and overall, I felt like the pacing was just overall really well done. within the leveling process. Now, the weaknesses of Lost Ark, at least in my opinion, it's not objective, it's my opinion. I felt like the questing was on the weaker side. In tandem with this, the North American voice acting wasn't hitting it for me. Personally, the typos within NPC dialogues ruin some of the immersion, and I'm just like, it makes me less interested in certain NPCs and how they interact with the overarching story within Lost Ark. And one of the last things I kind of wanted to just talk about, or at least I think is a weakness, is that advanced mechanics are not well explained. So like engravings, honing, etc. I had to figure out these. Now, I could just be an idiot, but for me personally, to understand engravings and honing and all this other stuff and all these shards and what you need, all these mats that you need to get in order to progress your gear and your character, I had to look up a YouTube video for that. I did not within the game, I did not feel 100% confident in my understanding within these advanced mechanics to elevate your character's progression. 99 to 100%, I had to look up a YouTube video or Google it on how engravings worked, honing, kind of the currency exchange with gold and blue crystals and all the other stuff I had to look up. So I feel like they could have explained that a lot better. Maybe I'm an idiot and they did put like a video or something, but it wasn't just really well explained. And the stronghold stuff, I did the tutorial for that and I understood some of it, but not a lot of it. Like, I felt like the explanations of these of these progression mechanics could have been better explained, but I could just be dumb, but who knows. Anyways, overall, I really love Lost Ark and I want to keep playing this game. I haven't felt like modern games were up to the same... I basically didn't feel like modern games didn't have the same level of passion as older games. I could just be a boomer, but Lost Ark basically has kind of given me hope again that, hey, you know, there are some games out there that are just really fun and they don't feel like they're all for profit. Like, you know, they just send out half-baked AAA games that you basically pay $60 for a beta, or there's a lot of bugs within the game. It's just like, Lost Ark is basically a breath of fresh air for me. So with that being said, thank you for watching. Thank you for watching this poorly made video. Oh my god, I'm working better on explaining my thoughts. Little by little, making more YouTube videos. I'm starting to get an idea of how I want to explain what I'm feeling and thinking. I'm kind of a scatterbrain, so basically, just real quick, I write a lot of my thoughts and feelings out better than I speak them. Basically, I have my idea in my head, but getting it out is the hard part for me. So if this video feels a little bit strange, or maybe my words are kind of discombobulated, that's most likely why. But regardless of that, thank you for taking your time to watch my video. If you got this far, I hope everyone has a great day, and yeah, bye.